For more than 200 years, the galaxy argued about one strange mystery. Why did no fleet ever return from attacking Earth? It was not a rumor. It was not propaganda. It was a fact recorded in thousands of official star logs. Entire armadas had entered the Sol system and vanished. No distress signals. No survivors. No wreckage drifting through space. Just silence. Because of this, the region around Earth's stars slowly gained a dangerous reputation. Maps began to mark the system with a quiet warning. Sol, entry not recommended. But many civilizations refused to believe the stories. Some said humans had created a powerful defense system. Others believed the fleets simply got lost in the asteroid belts. A few even suggested something stranger. They said the Sol system itself might be hiding something ancient, something that did not want visitors. For a long time, these ideas were treated like myths, until the day the Talarian Dominion decided to prove everyone wrong. The Talarians were one of the oldest empires in the Orion Arm. Their fleets had conquered dozens of systems. Their warships were enormous machines built for one purpose: control. When their Grand Council heard the stories about Earth, they laughed. To them, it sounded like an excuse made by weak civilizations. So, they prepared a demonstration. Not one fleet, not 10 fleets, but 1,000 war fleets, each commanded by experienced admirals. The mission was simple: enter the Sol system, defeat humanity, and return with proof that Earth was nothing special. Across the galaxy, news networks watched the massive armada depart. Thousands of ships moved through hyperspace like a dark storm. Everyone expected a quick victory. After all, how could a single young species defeat the might of the Talarian Dominion? But when the first fleet reached the edge of the Sol system, something strange happened. Their long-range scanners suddenly detected something impossible. Not weapons, not human ships, but thousands of ancient signals scattered across the entire system. Signals that had been waiting for a very long time, and the fleet admiral slowly realized something terrifying. The fleets that vanished before had not been destroyed. They had triggered something. And now, the Sol system had just awakened. Admiral Kara stood on the command deck of the Talarian flagship Iron Horizon. Through the massive observation screen, the Sol system slowly appeared. A yellow star burned at the center. Around it, planets moved in quiet circles. Everything looked calm, too calm. The admiral narrowed his eyes. "Report," he ordered. A navigation officer looked down at the sensor display. "Admiral, the signals are everywhere. Thousands of them." "Human ships?" Kareth asked. "No, sir," the officer replied nervously. "They are not moving. They appear ancient." Another officer joined the report. "Many signals are coming from deep space objects. Asteroids, abandoned satellites, even empty regions between planets." Kareth frowned. The Talarians had expected heavy defenses near Earth. Instead, the entire system looked empty. No human fleet was waiting. No battle formations. No warning message. Just those strange silent signals. The Admiral made a decision. "All fleets advance," he commanded. "Standard invasion formation." Across the system, thousands of Talarian warships began moving forward. Massive carriers, battlecruisers, and destroyers formed a dark wave heading toward the inner planets. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then suddenly, one of the outer fleets disappeared. Not destroyed, not damaged. It simply vanished from the fleet network. The communication officer looked confused. "Admiral, Fleet Group 37 has stopped responding." Kareth turned toward the screen. "Explain." "We are trying to contact them," the officer said, "but their signals are gone." A moment later, another voice shouted from the sensor station. "Admiral, Fleet Group 52 has also disappeared." Now the bridge became tense. Dozens of officers checked their systems. Something was wrong. Ships were vanishing one by one. No explosions. No weapons fire. Just gone. Then the long-range scanners detected something new. Across the Sol system, the ancient signals suddenly began to change. They were activating, slowly, one by one, like machines waking from a very long sleep. And for the first time since entering the system, Admiral Kareth felt fear, because whatever those signals were, they were not human technology, and they had just noticed the invading fleets. The bridge of the Iron Horizon became silent. Admiral Kareth stared at the sensor display as more red warning lights appeared across the screen. Another fleet group had vanished. Then another. Still no explosions. No enemy ships. No visible weapons. Just empty space where hundreds of warships had been seconds before. Scan the entire system again, Kareth ordered. The sensor officers worked quickly. Their hands moved across glowing control panels. A moment later, one of them spoke with shaking voice. Admiral, we are detecting large structures. Where? Kareth asked. Everywhere. The main screen changed. A detailed map of the Sol system appeared. Small symbols filled the display. Thousands of them. They were scattered across asteroid belts, near distant moons, hidden inside rings of ice and rock. Some were floating alone in deep space. At first they looked like debris, but when the sensors zoomed in, the truth became clear. They were machines, massive ones, ancient metal structures the size of cities. Each one carried the same strange energy signal. The officer swallowed nervously. These objects are extremely old, possibly tens of thousands of years. Kareth's eyes narrowed. Are they weapons? We do not know, the officer replied, but they are connected to each other. Another technician spoke quickly. Admiral, the structures are forming a network. Energy is moving between them. Lines of light appeared across the star map. The ancient machines were linking together like nodes in a giant web surrounding the entire Sol system. And the more they activated, the more fleets disappeared. A tactical officer shouted, Fleet Group 19 is gone. Kareth clenched his fists. This was not a battle. This was something else. Something far more dangerous. Then a new signal suddenly appeared on the communication channel. It was a human transmission. Calm, clear, and strangely polite. A human voice spoke across every Tellurian ship. Unknown fleet, this is Command. You have entered a protected system. There was a short pause. Then the human voice continued quietly. And unfortunately for you, you just activated our containment network. The human message echoed through every Tellurian ship. Admiral Kareth felt a cold tension spread across the bridge. Open a channel, he ordered. Moments later, the communication screen lit up. A human officer appeared. She wore a dark uniform and looked completely calm. Behind her, the background showed a control center filled with quiet activity. Kareth leaned forward. You are responsible for this? He demanded. What weapon are you using? The human officer studied him for a moment. Then she shook her head. It is not a weapon. That answer confused the entire bridge. If it is not a weapon, Kareth said slowly, then why are my fleets disappearing? The human officer gave a small sigh. Because your ships are being removed from the system. Removed? Kareth repeated. She nodded. You activated the Sol containment network. Kareth glanced at the star map, where thousands of ancient machines still glowed around the system. You built those machines? He asked. The human officer answered calmly. No. The bridge became silent again. They were already here when humans first reached space, she explained. For thousands of years, these structures have surrounded the Sol system. Kareth frowned. Then who built them? The human officer looked directly at him. We still don't know. She continued speaking. When humans first discovered them, we tried to destroy them. It was impossible. Then we tried to control them. That also failed. So eventually we learned the truth. The screen switched to another view. A recording from long ago appeared. Ancient alien ships were entering the Sol system, and just like the Tellurian fleets, they began to vanish. Kareth felt a chill. The network reacts to invasion fleets, the human officer explained. It does not attack civilians or explorers, only conquerors. Kareth slowly understood. So every fleet that attacked Earth, the human officer nodded, was removed by the system, not destroyed, just sent somewhere else. Kareth's voice became quiet. Where? The human officer looked almost sympathetic. That, she said slowly, is the mystery we still haven't solved. The bridge of the Iron Horizon fell into uneasy silence. Admiral Kareth stared at the human officer on the screen. "You are telling me," he said slowly, "that thousands of fleets have been sent somewhere and you still do not know where?" The human officer nodded. "For a long time we did not know," she replied. Kareth leaned forward. "But you know something now." For a moment, the human officer did not answer. Then she spoke again. "Yes." The bridge grew tense. "About 30 years ago," she continued, "one of the missing fleets finally sent a signal." Kareth's eyes widened. "A signal from the other side?" "Yes," the human officer said. The screen behind her changed again. A new recording appeared. The image was damaged and unstable. Broken ships floated in a strange region of space. Not a normal star system. There were no bright stars nearby. Only dark space and a giant glowing structure in the distance. The shape was enormous. It looked like a ring larger than a planet. Around it floated thousands of wrecked warships from many different civilizations. Some ships were ancient. Others looked much newer. Kareth felt a growing sense of dread. "That is where the network sends invasion fleets," the human officer explained. "A prison. A containment zone." The recording continued. Inside the strange region, the trapped fleets had formed small colonies among the wreckage. Enemies had become neighbors. Old wars had ended because survival became more important. Kareth whispered quietly, "So they are still alive?" "Yes," the human officer said. "For now." Kareth frowned. "For now?" The human officer's expression changed, because suddenly a new alarm sounded on the Tellurian bridge. A terrified sensor officer shouted, "Admiral!" Kareth turned quickly. "What is it?" The officer pointed to the scanner. "The containment network. It is locking onto our flagship." Kareth's heart dropped, because outside the ship, the stars of the Sol system were beginning to bend and twist, and the Iron Horizon was about to join the others. Red warning lights flashed across the bridge of the Iron Horizon. Admiral Kareth grabbed the edge of the command console as the ship began to shake. Outside the window, space itself looked strange. Stars stretched into long lines of light. The containment network had locked onto them. A terrified officer shouted, "Admiral!" Spatial distortion increasing. "We are about to be transported." Kareth turned toward the communication screen. The human officer was still there. "You knew this would happen," he said. She nodded quietly. "Yes." "Then stop it," Kareth demanded. For a moment, the human officer did not speak. Then she said something unexpected. "We can try." The bridge fell silent. Kareth stared at her in disbelief. "You can control the network now?" he asked. "Not completely," she replied. "But humans have studied it for 200 years. We have learned how to delay the transport, sometimes." "Why help us?" Kareth asked. "You invaded Earth." The human officer looked tired. "Yes," she said. "But if your fleets disappear, another empire will come next year." She continued calmly. "The galaxy keeps repeating the same mistake. Attack Earth, lose a fleet, learn nothing." Behind her, human technicians were already working quickly. Energy readings began to change. The stars outside slowly stopped twisting. On the bridge, officers watched the sensors in shock. "The transport field is weakening," someone shouted. The Iron Horizon was stabilizing. Kareth slowly realized what had happened. Humans had not destroyed the fleets that attacked them. They had simply survived long enough to understand the ancient system protecting their world. And now, they were even saving their enemies from it. The human officer spoke one last time. "Admiral Kareth, take your fleets and leave the Sol system. This time, humanity is letting you go." She paused for a moment, but remember something important. Her voice became serious. "Earth is not dangerous because of human weapons." Kareth waited. Then she finished the sentence. "Earth is dangerous because the universe itself seems to be protecting it.